I'm Angie Zimmerman, the Flower Diva from flowerarranging101.tv. I'm showing you how to make wedding garland. Making a wedding garland is actually pretty easy to do. It does take some time. And the materials that you use will really have a lot to do with your likes and dislikes and your theme and your color scheme and where you're putting it. So here are some things that you want to have in mind. You want to have a piece of base string that we're going to be wrapping all of our pieces of greenery onto with a piece of wire. So this is called waxed string, and if you're making a small piece of garland, like maybe a garland that's going to go on a chair back, this is adequate. It's strong. This is not going to break. You can tie a little knot in it so that you have a little hook to attach to on either end. And this will work fine. But if you're going to make a really big piece of garland, like say you were making garland that was going to be strung on a banister, so it was going to be 30, 40, 50 feet long, I suggest that you use a stronger, more durable string. So this is really rope. And there are lots of variations between the wax string and this rope that you could use that would work perfectly well, even for the heavier garlands. I'm going to go ahead and use this one because I think you can see a little bit better what I'm doing having this white background. The other product that you're going to need for making garland is called paddle wire. And in some parts of the country they call it spool wire, and it looks a little bit different. It's actually wound on a spool rather than this flat paddle, as we call them. Wire comes in different gauges. The gauge refers to the thickness of the wire. So this particular wire is a 22 gauge, which is a really nice kind of all-around general use size of a wire. It bends fairly easily, but it's also pretty strong. This gauge wire could be used to insert into a flower if you were wiring and taping flowers. And at the same time, it can also be used to wrap around the flowers. So 22 gauge is what I'm recommending. I literally walked my neighborhood and picked up and cut things that I saw that I thought would look pretty together in a garland. So I've got some cedar, some rosemary, which smells really nice. This is a form of an oak tree. The blackberries came off of a privet bush. This is a pine. I have some camellias in my front yard, so I cut some of the camellia flowers and the camellia greenery. And we have another form of an oak tree that was growing all around here, and it happened to be a very windy day and a bunch of pieces had blown off of the trees. So I picked them up and I saved them, and that's what we're going to use for our garland. So I'm just picking up a variety here. And what I'm trying to do is create some different textures. All of these have slightly different textures, which will all look really good and play against one another. So I'm going to go ahead. I've already tied a loop on my string. This is going to be a behind the scenes mechanics that you won't see. I'm going to hold my first bunch of greenery against this, and I'm going to get my paddle wire, and I'm going to get it started by tying a nice tight knot. It's not really a knot. I'm going to twist this together so that it's nice and tight and will hold its place. And then once I have that in position, you want to get this paddle wire in your hand and hold it between your fingers so that you can literally pull it around. Okay, and you want to do that until it feels like it's pretty secure, and that feels pretty secure. So let me go ahead and gather another cluster. So I'm holding this all together with my hands, attaching it right on top of the previous clusters, and wrapping once more. So the idea is that you'll keep doing this until you have the length of garland that you need. A quick tip on how to determine how much garland you need. If you're placing the garland straight across the front of a table, then your measurement will be literally the length of that table. But if you're going to take your garland and swag it, where you let it kind of curl and hang, you need to multiply out the length of garland that you need by 1.5. So if your table length is 20 feet and you want to swag that garland in between it, you're going to say 20 times 1.5, and that is the full length of garland that you'll need for your table. If you want tails to hang on either end of that garland, then you'll also want to add in whatever number of inches or feet that the tail length is to your total length of garland. So, you know, you have to do some addition and multiplying to get to the final number, but then you'll know exactly what size it should be. And look how gorgeous that is. And this was just from walking my neighborhood and literally picking things from, you know, the front yards. I'm Angie Zimmerman, the Flower Diva from flowerarranging101.tv, and I just showed you how to make wedding garland.